Making strides in making over a neighborhood. That's our focus on today's Red Couch Rewind. Welcome in. This is where we recap some of the great interviews you've been seeing on Eye on Northeast Kansas, the TV show. We bring it to you live on air and streaming live on WIBW.com, 4 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday from our WIBW studios in Topeka, Kansas. We are this year welcoming in an organization called Sent Topeka. Each month they come in and explain a little bit about their mission, how it works, and how it is helping people in the Southeast Topeka communities in particular, but really their services aren't limited just there. Anyone can access them. Jonathan Sublette is the founder and executive director of this organization. It's one that starts with a way of wrapping around an entire neighborhood in order to help it make strides, move forward, and improve. He explained that approach in one of his visits. Tricia McCourt and Eric Culbertson are with Sent Topeka, and they are here to explain how it all works. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
This is the Neighbor Advocate is a whole approach, right, Tricia? What does that mean?
So Neighbor Advocate is just another way to say case management. We prefer using Neighbor Advocate because it's usually not a very good day when someone catches a case, and people typically don't want to be managed, and we don't want to manage. So we like to walk alongside our neighbors and refer to it as neighbor advocacy.
It really sounds more empowering that way, doesn't it?
It is.
They're making the decisions. So when you
Yes.
talk about a case, Eric, how does it typically work? How do people first come in to Sent, and then from there what might happen?
Well, when they come in, I'm one of the first people they get to see, and we sit down, we do an assessment, we find out where they are, and then we meet them there. We try to break down barriers and walk alongside them so they can reach their goals and then get to a higher level.
And sometimes that first point of entry could be all the various programs that you have. They might come in for one thing, for example,
Yeah.
and then what do you do to find out and approach and build that relationship?
We have our food pantry, and that's kind of like our funnel. So we get people to come in, and it's a client choice, low barrier pantry. What we do is we ask a lot of direct questions to find out their needs, and then we reach out to them. We connect them to resources so they can reach their goals. Our pantry is really great. I think this last year we served over 4,500 people.
Wow.
And with that, we get to find out why they come into to Senate for the food in the first place. You know, it's obviously something's going on that made them need to come in for food. So we find out what that is, and we help them reach those goals.
When you say you ask them a lot of questions, though, Tricia, explain what that approach is, because you don't want people to think like, ooh, they came in, now we're going to tackle them and we're going to ask them all of these things. How does it really work? I mean, the questions may not be right away. They could develop over time that you're asking these questions.
So specifically with the pantry, we ask intake questions. And what that does is it helps us to just identify some other areas that they may need assistance in or want to get connected to resources. So through proactive case management, we then work with them, get them connected, maybe go through a strengths-based assessment, identifying their strengths, their barriers, helping them get connected either to resources at Sent or in the community, whatever works best for them. And so helping them identify those goals, set some tasks to meet the goals, and walk alongside of them that whole journey.
It's not intimidating, is my whole point.
It's totally not
intimidating.
No.
I think one misconception people might have is that Sent is based in the HiCrest neighborhood. You've worked to kind of continue the work in transforming HiCrest, but who qualifies for the neighbor advocates?
Anyone that comes in,
they don't have to live there.
They don't have to live there. We serve people all the way down from St. Mary's. They could drive in from there. We have Osage City. We actually have Emerleaf, which helps with SNAP applications, and we help people all the way down in Wyandotte County.
You talked about the food pantry. You just mentioned that you can help with SNAP applications. Yes. What other programs or services do you have?
We have everything from a mailbox service. So if you're unhoused and you need a safe place to get mail, you come in there, and that's a totally free program. And with that, you can start building and layering upon your needs. So you can have the mailbox to get your ID, and then different programs like SNAP help them get in, on the list for the Topeka Housing Authority, so then they get housing vouchers. And if they need, and if they've gone through a life experience, we connect them to our mental health services or addiction services or our holistic wellness center.
It seems like most people have a multi-layered.
Yeah, it's never one thing. Yeah, and this is not a one and done thing. We're building relationships that last for years. So we want to walk alongside them and just become friends with them as well.
Why is trust an important component here?
Wow. Trust is a huge component, because a lot of times individuals will go to get assistance and they're immediately either they find that there's programs that are not available for them, or they have lack of transportation, lack of certain services to get them where they need to be. And to be able to develop relationships and trust individuals, it just goes in to show that they can find or get the support that they need, and they can keep coming back for additional supports, because there's so many layers that unfold as we're learning about folks, and we're trying to help them with their needs.
Yeah, we were told that it takes about 75 positive interactions for people to start trusting somebody again, especially when they've gone through some rough things.
That really helps you reach, and yes. So the Scent, if you'd like to learn more about Neighbor Advocates, all the services Scent has, there's the number. It's been on your screen, 785-783-2535, or go to scenttopeka.com. They're located, by the way, in the former Avondale East Elementary building on Southeast Gulf Park Boulevard. Thank you both so much. Appreciate you being here and explaining all that. It is a great approach that they've been taking over at Scent Topeka, and really showing a lot of progress with the folks who live there. But knowing how to do that means understanding the real face of what it is people are facing. And Jonathan really loves data, and he dives into that in this next visit, where he talks about what does poverty really mean. So the report, this is from the Urban Institute, is called The True Cost of Economic Security. What does that tool take into account?
It takes into account that often people are wondering, man, if you just work, then you'll be okay. But that's not always true. And it takes into account how you can have a full-time job and still be struggling, and just the true cost of what it means to be economically stable, and how many families are in this gap where they are fully employed but still unable to provide the things they need for their family on a regular basis.
What are some of those costs that it even takes into account?
So medical costs, housing costs, food costs, transportation costs, things that often get left out and so to speak, or looked over, and it's like, no, these are really things that we have to consider in everyday life.
So I know you love data.
Yes.
And so when you look at that, what you find is the poverty line isn't really showing us the whole picture. So what are the numbers that come out of the Urban Institute's tool?
Yeah, so a lot of times, like you said, we focus on this poverty line. And the poverty line may be here, but you see what it really costs to live stably is right up here. And so a lot of times they're saying, like, you need to be making $80-some thousand a year at times to really be stable. And it's like, what do you mean? Most people don't make that kind of money.
Right.
So what does that look like? Also, this huge gap that it said, in every category, someone who owned a home fared better with a person in that same category who didn't own a home. That just reemphasizes the true value and why we need to get families into homes and build generational wealth with home ownership. When you think about almost 50% of the families in our country are living below that true cost of economic stability line that is set by this data, that really casts a big picture. And a lot of times those families won't qualify for a lot of the help programs because they're above that line of
poverty. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you sent me a whole list of numbers. They are
Yes.
kind of, it's eye-opening.
Yeah.
49 of 100 people in the U.S. live in families below that true economic security line. More than 40 out of 100 people, even if they're not, they're
Yes.
just under that line.
Yes.
1 in 10 people had less than half of what they need.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that hit me hard. When I get numbers like that, I like to tell people, if you go sit on a park bench in your neighborhood today, I want you to count to 10. All right, 5 of those families, even though they may be fully employed, they don't have what they need to thrive today. Another 4 of those families, they don't have what they need, and they're just under it. So that's one of the most frustrating things, to be close and to always feel like there's just one step back. That's the constant living in crisis mode, if you can ever figure that out, or just imagine that, where one little thing puts you back into this mindset of hypervigilance.
We talk about that. Yeah, if you have a car repair bill, all of a sudden you can't fix the car, which means you can't get to work, and then this whole ball starts
works.
rolling downhill. So this informs what Scent is doing. You mentioned affordable housing already,
Yes.
and we've talked and visited before
Yes.
about the affordable housing projects that you have going on, but you also talk about having resources close to home, having one place to find them.
Yes. So that's just important because when you don't have, getting attached or accessing resources can become a full-time job. And most people don't realize that, because when you're traveling all over the city, all over the county to access the things that you need, and then you'll get labeled as lazy when you don't make this appointment, or get lazy, or you don't really want it when you don't make that appointment. And they don't understand how much energy it takes to go from one place to another all over, trying to crisscross to get what your family needs. And so bringing those things into one hub for a family, letting them get one thing or multiple things in one location, reducing that cost of stress by not having to walk through a million doors to access the resources is so important.
And you've got both physical health and mental health. You're going to be celebrating an expansion of your Southside Wellness Clinic.
Yes, so we took this chance. Last year we opened up a Southside Wellness Clinic, a physical health clinic in our building. The need far exceeded what we thought, and so we are expanding that. And so on April 29th at 3 p.m., we will be cutting the ribbon on our clinic expansion, more exam rooms, still have massage therapy, chiropractic services, holistic health, all those things. Well Women's, our maternal health program, now have more space than ever. And so we're really looking at celebrating that.
On April 29th, folks are invited to check it out. I'll put
Yes.
the time frame on WIBW.com. But if you want to learn more about Scent Topeka or get connected with what they offer, scenttopeka.com is the easy way to do that. They're over there. Give your address, because I always say, like, you know, that 29th Adams Golf Park area.
Yes, 455 Southeast Golf Park Boulevard, Topeka, Kansas 66605.
And you don't have to live in a certain neighborhood to get help from them.
No, not at
Jonathan,
all.
thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Of course, Scent has their ongoing services, but then they also look to meet what are some immediate needs and things that maybe might ebb and flow throughout the year. They have one campaign coming up as we head into the summer months. Here's some information from Amy Kopp-Hasty on Beat the Heat. Welcome to you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and to be able to launch the Beat the Heat fundraiser. It's our annual event.
Okay, and so what's the goal here?
Well, our goal is to raise $15,000 so that we can provide 100 air conditioners in the community to people who need them.
So this is window air conditioning units?
Window air conditioning units. And they're for people in any under-resourced neighborhood, for people who are medically fragile, senior citizens. I mean, really anyone who needs an escape from the heat that's coming our way.
And especially when you talk about folks who when you talk about older adults, they need to be able to keep cool, keep their temperature regulated, and they don't often have transportation to get somewhere to get out of the heat if their house doesn't have air conditioning.
Correct.
And a lot of people rely on AC to stay healthy and productive.
Well, and I didn't know until I started looking into this program that heat is the number one weather hazard, and it's very, very difficult for people to overcome, you know, heat-like symptoms if they don't have a place to cool off or have air conditioning in their home.
So the first step is you want people to donate.
Yes, please.
And so then you're going to go out and you're
Yes.
going to purchase these
Yes.
window air conditioning units for folks.
Yes.
Then if someone wants one, what's the next step? What do they need to do?
They need to sign up. We have a link on our website where they can go and sign up, and we will be giving them out as long as we have them. And so I want people to understand that we do charge a $50 fee for anyone who would like to purchase an air conditioner. The reason we do that is our job at Scent is to strengthen neighborhoods and empower our neighbors. And by letting them purchase an air conditioner at an affordable price of $50, they also are helping give back to the fund, where then that money can go to help another person get an air conditioner. So it's dignity, it's respect, it takes away the power dynamic of charity, and it reduces shame.
Yeah, people really feel like they're invested then. That they've been able to do something for themselves.
Yes.
Even if they can't afford a full cost. Because I've looked at them in stores. You're talking $200, $300, $400, $500 and up if you want a good window air conditioning unit. So how do we give? I've got some links so you can see them at the bottom of your screen. You're going to see right there.
Yes, so that's the primary way that we would like people to donate to the cause. And then again, if they want to sign up to receive an air conditioner, it's first come, first served basis. And we'll start giving those away, and we'll give away 100. So last year, you know, we did run out the middle of July.
Get your application in now. And I did check, the links are active today. So
well, thank you.
Sendtopeka.com.
Yes.
Well, I know officially the campaign is going to be kicking off next week, but the links are already there because they really need your help. Sendtopeka.com/beat-the-heat-fundraiser. There's one button to give, another button to apply, and you take phone calls as well if folks maybe don't have the resource to log on, or they get confused by a computer. Give them a call. Their phone number is going to be there as well. Amy, appreciate you.
Great
Program. Thank you so very much. Certainly, we see a lot of organizations have cooling campaigns as the summer months go on. Salvation Army has their fan giveaway that they do all the time. For information on what Sent is doing, again, we've mentioned it, Sendtopeka.com, and you can find out about their services and support some of their giving campaigns throughout the year as well. We're going to get a little more lighthearted, talk about some of the summer events that are on the way when your Red Couch Rewind returns. Welcome back into the Red Couch Rewind as we are looking forward to some of the great events that we see every year around Northeast Kansas. One of those, Tap That Topeka. It is a brew fest that happens in downtown. Celtic Fox is largely where it is centered and who organizes it. A big street party out there. It's gone back and forth on what date exactly it's going to be held. It is back in June again this year. Katie Turner and Hayden Federico stopped in to let us know what's in store. Welcome.
Hello.
So first big thing I'm going to ask is last year it was September. We're back to June.
Back to June. We're still kind of figuring out our sweet spot. We don't want to compete with other events that are going on and make it so that people can attend all of the beer festivals and other things going on. So we're kind of playing around with it, but we like the summer and the June and, you know, getting people outside when the weather's mostly safe to be good.
Knock on whatever we need to knock on, that June is going to be okay. Yes. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. What kind of levels, variety of tickets are we looking at, and what's the advantage of getting them early?
Still running with the same ticket levels that we've done in years past, having the VIP tickets, which gets you that early access into the event. You get access to the special VIP beers, and then also you get access into the VIP lounge, free catered meal by Bobby's Food Co., and then free Tap That t-shirt, and then our general admission, which is entrance into the event, access to all of the products, about 400 products again this year for you to sample and try, along with a couple of other food trucks that'll be there and other vendors from around the Topeka area. And so we're running with the same stuff.
And you have a designated driver ticket as well.
Absolutely.
Which is also very important for those who maybe choose not to drink alcohol. You've got a variety of items available for them also.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So the big advantage of Tap That, Katie, for those who maybe aren't familiar or haven't been there before, what makes this so unique and such a fun thing to do?
Well, it's something that we try to do, incorporating with the Celtic Fox, to make it a community event. So even if you don't have a Tap That ticket, we partner it up with one of our second Saturday concerts. So after Tap That ends, there's a big live music show outside of the Celtic Fox that everybody can come to. So
do we know who it is yet?
We don't. We're
do you know when you're just not telling me?
No, I'm working really hard. I'm hopefully it pans out and it's going to be a really exciting show.
Okay, I'm excited for that. Here is video of the event last year. The timing bringing it back to June is also very interesting, Hayden, because I believe there's going to be a big sporting event in the area right after this date. And so if folks are here early, you might end up with some extra visitors.
Yep, that was kind of the intention of bringing it back to June. Like we did our first year that we took it over, of why not create an even bigger event for downtown with incorporating the World Cup going to be here and partnering with Sporting KC out of Kansas City, and make this kind of a big Topeka kickoff for World Cup and welcome all the visitors that will be here and just showcasing what Topeka has to offer to the rest of the world.
Real quick, I mean, you are the Celtic Fox, you are an Irish pub, so before we get to Tap That in June, we got to get through next week.
We got to get through Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is the big Irish Fest downtown, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow at the 4, because we love bringing you Irish Fest as sponsors for that. And what does Celtic Fox have planned for St. Patrick's
the weather
weekend?
seems to actually want to cooperate this year, so we're super excited. We will have the street closed down in front of the Celtic Fox past the parade. And we will have the bash playing from 1 to 5. So just a big fun party, you know, put your green on and come out and have a good time.
It's the bash that's going to play?
It
you know
is.
I love them.
It is.
Hi, Mike. All right, the Tap That Beer Festival, 5 to 8 o'clock, Saturday, June 13th. It is near Celtic Fox, 8th and Jackson, if you'd like a geographic location for it. Tickets are on sale tomorrow with the VIP access, general admission, designated driver. Is there an early bird discount do you have this year, or are we going to be running specials along the way here?
Running specials along the way.
All right, so keep posted on that. TapThatTopeka.com is where you go to get your tickets and all the information. Katie, Hayden, thank you both very much. Be sure to get your tickets. It is always a lot of fun and a big old street party. Some of it, again, admission if you want to get in and do the tastings, but that after party is free with that music outside Celtic Fox. Can't wait to hear who they have in store for us. Music is always a great thing to do during the summer. A fairly new festival, Rock the Plains, will be back for its second year. Last year was the first year. This year they've moved locations in hopes of making it even bigger and better. Coleman Younger and Richard Jones are two of the founders. They stopped in to let us know their plans for year 2. There are some new things this year. We can call it an annual event now.
We can.
Second annual. Coleman, first of all, what's the theme for music? I know you were kind of doing surveys. What kind of acts, what genre would people like to see? Where would we settle?
Yeah, great question. So even last time we were here, we talked about doing a little old and a little new coming up, and that's exactly what we've got this year. Country music legends Mark Chestnut and Travis Tritt are going to be up there with the headliners.
I love that.
Along with some newer acts like Ian Munsick and Flatland Cavalry.
Nice. And I was reading a little bit about Flatland Cavalry because I didn't necessarily know the name, but then they said they do a lot of the music in Landman.
That's right. That's my understanding.
So there you go. So
Yeah.
if you didn't know you knew them, but you know them, which is always fun.
I need to watch the show. That's what I'm hearing.
And so Richard also knew the location.
Yes.
What did you decide to do? Why did you make the move?
Yep, so there's a couple different reasons, and the first one's really expansion and growth. I mean, we really appreciated where we were at and the service that we got, but you know, we wanted to grow a little bit, so we're trying out some different places.
So you're moving from Tuttle Creek State Park over to Alma,
That's correct.
which is basically off of I-70, not what you might think of as the Alma exit, but the Wabunsee Road exit.
That's correct, yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so where are we talking and how is it logistically going to work? Like, do you just get off the highway and there you are?
That
in
is,
the big
yep.
field?
Yep, right off the exit. You have to remind me what the exit is.
Yeah, exit 324.
That's it. thank you.
Wabunsee Road.
Yep, Wabunsee
Where
Road.
Grandma Horner's is.
Yes, that's the one.
Where the jelly
Yep.
factory is.
Yep. So right off the exit, you'll see it right there, and it'll be really nice.
Okay,
We'll set
so a
it up.
lot of people always say, okay, but what about camping? How are we handling camping this year, and what are you recommending to folks?
Great question. We're not doing any camping on site this year. We do still have great partners and encourage folks to check out some of the state and county lakes there in Wabunsee County. We've already had plenty of great discussions with them, and they're going to be all ready for everybody who wants to come out. We are going to plan on adding camping back in the very near future, but just setting up this new space for ourselves this year. We're going to focus on the music and giving all of our fans the best experience we can.
And how are you going to do that? I know you've got a lot of key partners that are going to help you with that experience as far as, refreshments, food, drink, all that kind of stuff, handling all of the logistics. Who are some of those key partners doing
Yeah.
that?
So we're going to work with the same vendors that we worked with last year. So K-State's a huge partner. Of course, Pepsi's a huge partner. Then we're still going to look for food trucks and local vendors because we're still wanting it to be a really focused community event.
Very good.
Yep.
Now, I loved Travis Tritt. I think he's been someone that a lot of
Looking
folks in our
forward to it.
area,
Oh, yeah.
years and years and years ago, I remember getting to see him and meet him when he visited Fort Riley, of all places. So how important are some of those classic big names that you're able to attract this year in Travis Tritt and Mark Chestnut?
Yeah. So again, we wanted people to look back. We get so many comments, not necessarily comparing our event to Country Stampede, but this sure reminds us of the great times that we had there back when it was at Tuttle Creek. And by bringing back some of those artists who are still front and center for some of these folks who were going to that event more years ago than I like to admit I was going. It gives us a great opportunity, and also moving the event closer to Topeka itself, we think is going to make it a little easier for folks here in the city to make it out to the event.
Your parents brought you when you were a baby. Let's just go with that story, right? So what did you learn from last year's event, Richard, that you used to make this year's event even bigger and better?
Yeah, last year was extremely hot. Extremely hot. So this year we're going to make some provisions to make sure that it is a lot more comfortable for the people that are attending. Other than that, everything went smoothly.
It is still August, so
Yeah.
it is
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be hot no
It's
matter
gonna be
what, so
warm.
everybody always has to prepare for that.
Absolutely.
Let's put information up on the screen because it has your website on there so that folks know where to go to find the tickets, because this is coming up August 7th and 8th off of I-70 and Wabaunsee Road at Elma. RockThePlains.com is where you can go to buy tickets. Everybody go to Rock the Plains, figure it out, and get those tickets now. Coleman, Richard, thank you. Appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Whether it's Rock the Plains or another music festival happening in your area, be sure to get out and enjoy all of the fun this summer. In downtown Topeka, of course, we have the summer music festivals really just starting back up again. Live at Lunch on Wednesday afternoons is happening, and then the big Eats and Beats Thursday night free concerts at Evergy Plaza, they are going to be starting up in the month of May. Friday Flicks is going to be back as well, where they show movies on Evergy Plaza, and all around town, you know, every weekend, a lot of times on the weekdays too, you can have some great music. Nothing says summer like live music outdoors. Glad you could be with us here. Remember, you can see all of these video segments and video from all of our guests on the Red Couch Rewind. Just go to WIBW.com and you will see the Eye on Northeast Kansas link for all of those segments. There's a special section on your Roku streaming apps as well. And head to my Facebook page, WIBW Melissa, where you can get a look at our studio selfies for all the behind the scenes fun. Until next time, we'll see you on the Red Couch.